today to this IEP meeting. We have Dan's parents, John and Amy. We have the principal, Mr. Machin Baker. And we have the school counselor, Mrs. Smith. And then over here we have the special education teacher, Mrs. Snap. I have brought all you guys together today to talk about the individualized education program for Dan. And that is the purpose of this meeting, so then we can get it put into effect as soon as possible into the classroom to help him improve in the areas where he is struggling. In the packet that I have provided the parents with contains the parent and student rights policy, and if you would have a look at that, that would be great. If you're not familiar with it, if you're familiar with it, then you know your rights and your students' rights. The reports that everyone has prepared today is also in the packet, and then at the end of the meeting, once all the changes / modifications have been made to the IEP that was provided that we have all lined out, I will then provide the parents with a signed copy so that they have a reference to go off of in the future. Below the students' right policy is where the report that I have done is located. This report points out Dan's strengths and weaknesses in the classroom. I would like to point out that Dan has a good sense of humor and is really accepted by his peers in the classroom. He strives well in math and all of his subject areas. The one part where we want to bring up for the IEP would be his writing and reading and his ability to follow directions. So Dan has issues following multi-step directions. He looks for, if he can't get a general idea of what the directions mean, he looks to see what his peers are doing, and then he will follow their directions into what they're doing. So what I would like to go over are some goals that all of us have put together for Dan. And the first goal we have to help improve his reading and instruction skills is given a small group reading instruction, Dan will actively participate to the best of his abilities to finish each assignment with at least 90% accuracy by December 1st, 2019. This goal is observable and measurable by the assignments that the students will be doing, and we will also have a specific timeline that we would like to stick to get him back with his classmates per se for the reading instead of in the resource room. Our goal for this is, since Dan is reading at a second grade level, we'd like to get him up to per se a third grade level with this and get him flowing in the right direction so he's not so behind. For goal number 2, we have given verbal and written directions. Dan will be able to interpret the directions into his own words and onto his assignment notebook, using peers to help him understand what is being asked in the directions if he has questions. With at least an 80% accuracy by December 1st, 2019, this goal will be observed by asking Dan to have at least one teacher or a peer look at the directions that he has written down in his assignment notebook. This way, if he has the teacher look at it, or a peer student, or we could have both, we will be able to see how he's interpreting the directions and if he's getting the hang of what actually needs to be done. And it will also help improve his writing skills, because he's having some errors with his writing. His writing is lower because his reading is lower. But he can improve, and this will be a way to help him improve in his writing. For goal number 3, we have given a book at a 3rd grade reading level. Dan will be able to read aloud a passage out of the book with at least a 90% accuracy with at least 115 words per minute by December 1st, 2019. This is an increase in grade level along with words per minute. This gives him time to improve on his reading, but if we need to, we can adjust the time schedule. My way of hoping to work on this is give him little passages here and there and time him on it to see how he's doing, if he's progressing, if he's not understanding anything, if he's working on his if it's working on his vocabulary, we can also help with that. And it's just something that we can move if need be, if he is really struggling with it. Goal number 4 is given a written prompt, Dan will provide an answer that contains at least 8 sentences, with each sentence containing at least 6 to 10 words with a 90% accuracy by December 1st, 2019. And why I have this goal set into place is because his written work contains many spelling errors and lacks the necessary punctuation on his sentences, and our short sentences that are like 3 to 5 words. I'd like to see him getting up there in sentences and being able to put sentences together using more than just 3 to 5 words. I'd like to see those longer with proper punctuation as his general education activities. Dan will be able to complete said activity with 95% accuracy using his peers and written instructions for guidance by December 1st of 2019. So this goal goes along with goal number 1. Because Dan has some problems with his directions and following those directions, I have set this goal so that he will be able to hopefully participate in more activities. We may wind up having to give him some modified directions at first to help him get the activity done. These directions will be no different than the ones that his other classmates have. It's just they'd be worded differently so that he would understand them better, and hopefully we can work towards that to get him off of the modified directions. Overall, Dan is a very good student. He just is struggling in those couple areas, and I'd like to see him improve. So then, farther along in his school career, he will not be put into the special education room for periods on end without interaction with his classmates. And this won't affect him any differently since they go to different reading areas to match their grade levels. It's just he'd have to leave the room. And I think we can, if we get this set in play right now, he will be able to eventually be back with his classroom, get his reading level will be up, his writing level will be up, and he will be able to participate in everything without much for struggling. I'd like to thank you guys today for coming.